In this video, I'm going to have a look at the terminology that's used in Google Data Studio, and it's the one thing that took me the longest to get my head round when I first started to move from spreadsheets into Data Studio. On this demo report, we've got two things. I've got a table and a scorecard just to show you what happens when we adjust the settings within here. So let's have a look at the terminology that's used. The first thing you'll see is your data source, and that's obviously the data source that you've linked to begin with, and you can blend or change and add different data sources there. You've then got the date range dimension, and if you do have a date range, so for instance this report was a form that went in, so we had a timestamp dimension, and we've added that automatically within here. The next one's dimension, and this is basically anything which is text-based. So if you've got something that is text-based, then you'll see it. And on my table here, I've highlighted the program area. So down on the left-hand side of my table, you can see the different program areas that the staff have selected that they work in. Next is a metric. Now, metric is something which is going to do some adding up for you, and it can be a text field or it might be a number field. If you've got a number field, for instance, I've got how many people selected G Suite or Google Suite, and this number here, what we can do is currently adding up. So we got the staff to grade themselves between 1 and 4, and it's adding all those things up under public services, and it's coming with 17 at the top there. I can change this, and let's go for an average, and I can now see what the average selection was for that particular program area. So average for sport and public services between everybody that filled that sheet in was 2.43, unlike services for business, hospitality and travel was 2.2. That might be a bit more interesting for me. Also, I've got a range of other options that I can choose, and you can obviously see and go through those if you want to and change those. So let's leave that on for an average. Now let's say if we added a text field into here as well. So if I wanted to say program area, I'm going to add that into my text field. So when I've added my text field in here, what it's first of all going to do is count distinct objects. And because I've selected program area, it's just going to show me one of those. But if I wanted to count how many instances there are, so for instance, how many staff members there are in that program area that completed the form, I could go to count, and it would then show me sport and public services would be 7 on there. So you can use number fields, but you can also use text fields as well and find out some interesting reports from those. Then if we scroll down, what you've then got is an option for sort, and this is how you want your table to be displayed, and it will then allow me to select which ones are currently in the chart fields. So let's now sort it by Google Suite, and it's then going to show me who has got the highest performing area. So 3.86 was the highest one for Google Suite, and that was performing arts, music, media and music technology. I can then change it to the ascending order so I can see who scored themselves the lowest for that particular field. And it's the same thing for a scorecard. So I haven't got a dimension in this one, I've only got a metric. So I've still got a date range, which I can apply a date range filter to. But for this metric, currently what it's doing, it's making a sum, and I can change this again to be a count. So count how many people had who took part in this survey, so 115 in this one. I can count distinct, so there's 4 different options, and I can see that there's 4 different options that come back for my distinct one as well. But again, I'm going to use average, and I can see the average for the whole college here, 2.4 of the people that scored themselves on this self-assessment for this particular field. I hope that's been useful and given you a good understanding to the terminology used within Google Data Studio and help you get you up and running with creating your own reports. Thanks for watching the video.